Before you start recording, are you recording gallery mode?
Yeah, it's in gallery view.
Okay. Well, Smarl from Black Film and TV talking to Kaci, star of the new the CW series. Naomi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So let's go back. Did you audition for the role? Did Ava reach out to you? How did you come about for getting this project?
Well, this is like my first big role, so there was no one to reach out to for. I got an email, and it was a regular audition. I saw, and then I just kept reading it, and it kept getting better. I saw Miss Ava's name, then I saw CW, then I saw DC, then I read the character description, and that is where I was really, really invested. And then I read the sides, and I sent in a self-tape, and I didn't hear anything for 2 weeks, and then I found out that Miss Ava wanted to do a producer session with me. And I was really nervous. I tried to play it cool, but I was really nervous. And then when I got into the room with her and she said my name, I just calmed down. I was very grateful that she, knew my name and wasn't like next, and really talked to me first. And then I did the scenes that they did, and she asked me a couple questions, and I finished, and then I was like just satisfied. I remember feeling really satisfied, even if I didn't book it, that I was just able to meet Miss Ava, and then I was able to audition for the role. And then unexpectedly, my mom called me to tell me that Miss Ava wanted to fly me and her out to LA to have lunch with her. So my mom and I went from New York to LA, and I did a couple Zoom chemistry reads there. Still didn't book the role, and I sat down with Miss Ava, and we went to this vegan restaurant, and we sat down for 2 hours. She gave me 2 hours of her time to talk about the role and talk about the project, and really get to meet me and my mom and know about my history. And I was just so grateful for that. I was that trip to LA. I was just like so ecstatic and couldn't believe it. And then I went back to New York, and I hadn't booked the role yet. And that week was kind of crazy because that's all I was thinking about. And then my mom handed me the phone one night, and it was Miss Ava on, and she said, "I want to invite you to the Wraith family to play Naomi." So that's a short little spiel of, all the events that happened.
Now, I've never heard of my Naomi before, and I'm sure a lot of people haven't as well. How much are you a comic book fan, and how much did you know about the series prior to that? Or did you have to start from scratch and, this is the role, let me read about it, and yada, yada, yada?
Yeah, I think that the beautiful thing is that, first of all, it's like one of the fastest comic book to television adaptations, which I think also allows us to grow more and allows new viewers who haven't read the comic book to be introduced to new material that it doesn't have like years worth of comics. I didn't know about the character, and I was actually pretty shocked that I didn't. I don't see many Black women, or younger Black women for that matter, who are superheroes, and she's one of the very many few. So I looked at her character and watched a couple videos of Brian Michael Bendis and David F. Walker talking about Naomi when I was first auditioning, when I sent it that first self-tape. And then in between the period of when I did the session, I was doing more research on the character, but I hadn't read the comic yet. And then when I was going to LA on my computer, I was reading the comic on the plane. And then when I booked the role, I was like, I need to have this comic in my hands. So I've been to the comic book store a couple of times. I have all the Justice Leagues that she's in, and they just re-released it the other day with the photo that we took of me. So it's really nice, and the source material is really beautiful.
Now, obviously, from the get, as we watch episode 1, there's mention of Superman. So were you a comic book fan in general? Do you know of Superman outside of the movies and so forth?
I was never really big. Of course, I do know about Superman, but I was never really a big comic person. I hadn't read comics before the show. I read a lot, but I funny enough, never read comics. So that's something that the show has gotten me into. It's gotten me into doing more research on Superman because Naomi loves Superman, and so that is something beautiful that the show has kind of embraced in me.
Now, I always ask this of every actor, that whenever they play a role, and obviously as they read their sides and as they read the script, there's a little bit of themselves in a character. How do you relate to Naomi? Like when you read her and her background, what part of her is you?
Yeah, I think that, as much as I love having the similarity. I love having the differences, first of all. I think that is like so much fun as an actor because you can get to like build on that. But the similarity is really fun too. I loved her drive and her passion, especially through the first episode. You see that, and I thought it was so interesting how she looked up to Superman so much. And I thought it was, I was like, that goes into a deeper reason of why she looks into Superman so much. So then I looked at like some of my so-called idols and looked into why do I really love them so much? Why is it because I want to be like them, or is it because I, desire something that they have? So I looked into that. And then I think in the passion and drive sense of her as well too, when people tell her no, that doesn't mean she's going to stop. And I see that for myself too. If I want to do something, I'm going to do it. And while still being respectful, of course, but yeah.
Now, hardcore comic fans who may have read the series prior to knowing who may have read the comic book prior to knowing there was going to be a series, whether it's Naomi or Batman, Superman, or any other film or series, usually they want to see an aspect that they've read in the books on screen. Mm-hmm. Will we get that in Naomi? So for anybody who's read the comic book prior to the series, if there's anything that was it's a character or a certain scenario, will we get any of that played onto the big screen? Definitely.
I think that, what's so beautiful about the first episode is that when people who have read the comic will see, like, they'll be like, it feels like you covered all the material in the pilot. We haven't. We cover so much. And we also expand so much, but there's the characters that are in there, like D, Alexander Wraith, who plays D. He embodies D so much, but also brings himself into it and brings a whole nother character. And then, there's fun Easter eggs. There's a lot, especially in the pilot. People who have read the comic will love the fun Easter eggs, and I think that's super cool. And it also goes throughout the series, but then it also allows us to grow.
Now, have you gotten a chance to talk to the creators in terms of like what was their vision? Obviously from the book, and there's a difference when they translate it to the big screen, to the small screen.
Yeah, I mean, I've on Instagram and Twitter and stuff like that, I've talked to Brian Michael Bendis and David F. Walker. I think that, Ms. Ava was saying yesterday, we did a conference yesterday, and she was talking about how they've been really hands off on the project and, beautifully giving it to two women, Jill Blankenship and Ava DuVernay, to tell this story. So, I'm so grateful and love the book so much, but I haven't talked to them.
Mm-hmm. Now, obviously this is not just you, it's an ensemble, it's a big cast in here. How's it been shooting with this cast and getting to know everybody?
Yeah, it's been great. We have like a very interesting array of people, Ms. Ava's great at bringing up newcomers, but she's also great at bringing like people, who have worked for a really long time. Barry Watson, who plays my dad, was on like one of the first CW shows ever. And now CW is so big. So it's so beautiful to see him here. And he has so much wisdom. He's also like hilarious. Every time I do a scene with Barry and Mouzam, no matter if it's emotional or happy, we're all laughing. But, especially working with the younger cast, I'm the only child. I'm 17. So that can be a little bit hard when I have to go to school and they're on set and they can hang out on set. But I think that, we hang out on the weekends and they're really nice with that. And they're newer actors too. Some of them have been acting like for a really long time, but it's a great array of people. And I enjoy working with everyone, learning from everyone, and I enjoy them as people.
Now for you, and you're a young actress, but you're the lead of the show. How have you grown so far from the episodes you've shot so far? Obviously, it's for every different episodes, a new director, new people on set, and so you're still growing. What have you learned so far as you shoot episode to episode?
It's funny because I kind of like think about myself from episode 2, and I'm a little bit like timid about that because, of course, it's the vision of the producers and things like that. But I'm like an acting geek, genuinely. I watch videos like on my off days, on the weekend. I read books because I just go out and experience, because that is a big part of what acting is. So I think that, especially through every director, I learn something, through every scene, through every script. But I think that, the beautiful thing about acting is that you like, even, some of the big names, they're always growing and always learning with life experiences too. So I think that, in that sense, it can be a lot of pressure, but I think that, Naomi is a different character than she is in episode. She's a different person than she is in episode 1 versus, let's say, episode 9. And that is also me a little bit as Kaci growing as an actor, but also the circumstances change a little bit. So yeah, of course I've grown and stretched, and I'm really grateful for this show to help me.
Now, it goes without saying that Naomi, DC, Superman, and obviously the CW has a number of series, and it's while we're still trying to get to know who Naomi is and who knows how many episodes it goes towards it. At what point do you think, and it's not in your control, would there be a mashup into the Arrowverse?
Miss Ava confirmed yesterday on the TCA panel that there is no season 1 crossover.
Okay.
However, would be really excited for the Naomi verse to grow, with characters coming in for the season 2 comic, and then just also other characters possibly, coming in here with the Justice Leagues and everything. I would be super excited for them to come to us. There are like some dream crossovers I have, like Naomi and Stargirl. They're both in high school. I think that would be like Courtney and Naomi would be a fun little duo. So yeah, of course, I would love to do a crossover in the future.
Now, am I correct? Is she Naomi McDuffie?
Yes.
And the McDuffie is part as a homage to a writer that a lot of people remember. What can you say about that?
Yeah, I know that Naomi's last name is a homage to Dwayne McDuffie. And that was like the first thing that I did when I researched the role, even through the audition process. And I thought that was beautiful. And, we use the last name a lot. And I always think about that. I always think about just honoring Mr. Dwayne. And, yeah, I think that is beautiful.
Mm-hmm. And then at the end of the day, obviously, now that you're going to be on billboards and it's already on billboards and all that, what keeps you humble? Obviously, people are going to see you. That's that girl.
Yeah.
What do you do in your spare time?
Oh, trust me, a lot of things keep me humbled. I may post on Instagram like myself on a billboard, but like I promise you, a lot of things keep me humbled. But I would say on my free time, as I said, I like to watch acting videos just so I can go about the actor. It's not really about like the fame part or anything like that or the attention part. I like to read. I like to hang out with my friends and my family. I think my family keeps me really grounded and really humble. I don't have a big head, but I would never get a big head when I'm with like my brother or my cousins or my aunts.
Now we know that Naomi has powers. Have you started doing the CGI stuff already, or is that coming up later on?
CGI is, we have a great team and a great editing team behind that. The show picks up fast. So I think that, people will be really excited. And as her powers are evolving, naturally, maybe the CGI is evolving to, in the future. So she grows every single episode. She's uncovering things about herself and her power every episode. So it'll grow. I'll be really excited for people to see it.
And now obviously she's wearing glasses. You're not wearing glasses, so it's always like, okay, what is this character really like and so forth. And people are going to go see, people are going to check it out come, Tuesday, 8 o'clock or so forth. It's a new series. So what's the best way in the short term to describing who Naomi is without revealing the other characters? And so here's a woman who, I think with DC characters, it was always about they're learning if they got skills and they're always timid, about, should they use their powers or not? Do you see Naomi similar to other characters?
I see, it is a superhero show, of course. I think that our definition of hero should be different. I think that there are many definitions of heroes. You don't have to necessarily, wear a cape or fight crime to be a hero. Some people do. I think that, what's so great about Naomi is she's a teenager and she's still figuring out who she is. So it's a coming of age story and it's also a superhero story. And, maybe when you get powers, you're not super excited about the powers. Maybe it's not something that you embrace. Maybe it's something that makes you different. So Naomi takes place in Port Oswego in Oregon, and it follows a cool, confident 16-year-old girl who looks up to superheroes and looks up to Superman. And when an event happens in her town, she questions everything and it shakes her morals, and she finds out some stuff that changes her mind.
That's the best way to say it. Well, Kaci, it's been good talking to you. Obviously, we and the rest of the audience look forward to seeing the show. Let's keep it going. Hopefully, we'll talk down the road. Season 2, we know what's going to happen because CW is always confident about their show. So I believe in you. I believe in the show. So keep it going. We'll talk down the road.
Thank you.
Take care.